Now, access to cleaner and healthier means of cooking remains a big challenge for a large number of Nigerian women, especially those living in rural areas.
Now, many die from complications resulting from smoke inhaled while preparing meals for their families. Edith Taylor gives us some perspectives on this.
To get meals ready for their families, this is what many women in Nigeria go through. They would love to make use of cooking gas, but that comes at a price many cannot afford. To fill up a 5 kg gas cylinder could cost as much as 2,000 naira, while purchasing firewood could cost as little as 100 naira. According to the World Health Organization, 98,000 Nigerian women die annually from complications linked to smoke inhaled while cooking with firewood. But cooking gas is not the only alternative. One Nigerian exploring other alternatives to get his meals cooked is 27-year-old chemical engineer Ikenna Uba, who lives in Enugu, southeast Nigeria. Ikenna collects waste and converts to renewable biomass energy to cook his meals, an option he chose after his grandmother died from complications linked to smoke inhaled while cooking with firewood. That alternative is converting waste to briquettes, a biofuel substitute to charcoal that is not just cleaner, but also healthier. Nigeria currently generates an estimated 43 million tons of waste, according to the World Bank. Plastic pollution has been identified by the United Nations as a threat to human life. Nigeria is one out of 12 countries responsible for the most plastic dumped in the ocean every year. With an estimated 8 million tons of plastic already deposited in the ocean, the UN says there might be more plastics than fish in the oceans by 2050. As small Nigerians continue to struggle with cooking using firewood and suffer health complications, the raw material for a more affordable alternative might just be lying on the streets and in drainages, plastic waste converted to briquettes. Edith Atele, TVC News.
Well, joining us via phone is an environmentalist, John Ekoko. Thank you, John, for joining us on TVC Breakfast. As interesting as this sounds, educate us on how this works, especially for those who are watching.
Yeah, thank you, TVC. Environment and waste. There are a few things we need to keep in mind. The first thing is that waste is not that garbage that we were looking at yesterday. Waste is now a new economy on its own, all over the world. And there are basic drivers of this waste. The first thing is the growing concern about the hazards of waste disposal. The second one is the broader environmental concern, especially global warming and resource depletion. And the last is the economic opportunities created by the new waste regulations and technological innovation. What am I trying to say? In the past, waste was seen as garbage. But today, what we have come to see is that the environmental concern connected with technological innovation.
All right. Now, how accessible, easily accessible is this, and why do you think Nigeria is not latching on this opportunity?
Thank you very much. That's why I said, apart from environmental concern, you have to look at the level of technological innovation. I'll give you a few examples. And I think the best place to start is with VisionScape. VisionScape came with a concept of managing waste from cradle to grave. However, they did not look at the technology. They wanted to, do on a large scale what the small artisans were doing. They were bound to fail. even in Europe today, there is this concept of mass customization, whereby what you are doing is trying to collect waste and segregate it so as to recycle. Recycling is the thing in the world.
John Ekoko, I'm afraid we have to leave this interview here. Thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast.